speaking to you from up where the possums live. You've probably had possums in or on your roof, great big things thumping around. So it's hard to imagine that you could hold one in your hands. But inside here, I really do have one. A true, fully grown Australian possum. There it is. It's one of the pygmy possums, and an absolutely beautiful creature, no bigger than a mouse. Doesn't look so good there because it's not used to living in hands, so we'll shove it up in the treetops where it ought to be. Here we go. In fact, it ought to be there because it's absolutely beautifully built for climbing amongst the slender branches. And you can see, once it finds its way around, how well it does it. It's got hands and feet which are superbly adapted for gripping. Those front hands are a bit like ours. They've got a sort of thumb and fingers, and underneath, if you could see it, they've got wrinkled pads that really do grip extremely strongly on the branches. In fact, if they want to move from branch to branch, I'll see if I can make it do just that. They can hang on with their feet, their hind feet, and grab with their forefeet and just transfer very easily from one to the other. Even the hind feet have thumbs where our big toe ought to be. If that's not enough, hands and feet, they've got a tail that does it as well. That tail's prehensile, which means it grips and forms effectively a fifth hand. When they're not using it for climbing, they coil it around like a ringtailed possum, and most of the time in the treetops, it's grabbing onto something, just in case they fall. You can see it looks a bit like a string of beads along there. It's because the little pygmy possums use that as a fat storage. They can pack fat away into that, and those are the little sort of knobbles there, and it's a food source for when times are rough. They aren't in a tree like this because these things feed on blossom and, when they can, insects, which they hold and chew the good bits out of and throw the wings away. One look at those eyes and you'd know it's a nighttime animal. Things with great big dark eyes like that are, of course, nocturnal. And the great big whiskers would show you too that it's a nighttime animal, because when there's no light to see by, they can feel their way around with these great big whiskers. And of course, being as small as a mouse, exposed in the treetops, quite a lot of them, I'm afraid, get knocked off by owls. Fortunately, they are not rare. The thing that would really threaten them is if we clear too many of our forests away and they lose the sort of place that they live in. But that's the pygmy possum. It's related to the feather-tailed glider. This one doesn't have a feather tail, as we've seen, but it is a relative of that small but enchantingly beautiful group.